Hi, my name is Andy Cragen, and I want to share with you a little bit about my coaching journey, where I started, where I've been, and where I am now. So, as a kid, I didn't grow up with eating healthy in a home or being taught that. We were in a situation where the cheaper was the way to go. That's what we could afford, and I'm totally okay with that, and I thank my parents for feeding me, but I was never taught any healthy habits growing up. So, as a teenager, I wanted to be like one of the guys. I did not want to be treated any differently because I was a girl. I had to be competitive. I was athletic. I wanted to have a six pack just like them, and I did by the time I was 13. But by the time I was 17, my world was rocked, and I turned to food to help me emotionally cope. By the time I was 18, I hit my all-time high, and I was in a very, very low and dark place in my life that I hope to never go back to, nor do I hope my kids will ever go through what I went through. By the time I was 19, I was getting married. I had joined a gym, went for a few months, and then I quit. A year into my marriage, I became pregnant with my first child. Really quickly, my body started changing. And what people don't tell you is that there's an emotional part to your body changing that you don't expect. And it's really hard to go through. So again, turning to food, giving into pregnancy cravings. I did not have a healthy pregnancy, and I had lots of complications. Sometimes I wonder if my pregnancy would have gone differently had I had a healthier lifestyle. So I started having kids, and I had 3 kids in 4 years. And by the time I had my third kid, 3 months after, my marriage was in a really rocky place. And I can honestly say, looking back, there were a lot of reasons why, but mostly because I had no self-worth, I had zero self-esteem, and no confidence in myself. How could my husband love me when I saw myself as disgusting? Somebody else surely out there could make him happier than me. So that was it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I had had enough. I was so focused on being a mom and a wife and taking care of everyone else but myself. So I joined a gym. I hired a personal trainer. This was going to be my turning point. 3 months into my journey, working out at the gym 5-6 days a week, spending a lot of time away from my family, eating healthy, spending money on a personal trainer, and I hadn't seen any results. Not a single pound, not a single inch lost. Now, while I was gaining a little bit of self-esteem because I was really proud of myself for being consistent, I still needed that change. I was watching this girl on social media who I went to high school with. We weren't even acquaintances. We never said a single word or had a single class together in high school. But the universe aligned, and somehow we were connected over social media. I reached out to her because of one post. She posted a picture and it said, "Live life by design." She'd been sharing her journey about coaching, her health and fitness transformation, and I was inspired. So I reached out to her. She had talked to me about a challenge pack, joining one of her challenges, Shakeology, workouts, things like that. While I was intrigued, I was more intrigued of how much her life had changed because she was a coach. So instead of signing up like normal people would as a challenger, I decided to be a go-getter, and I signed up as a coach without her knowing. She didn't even know it until a few days later when she checked her office and reached out to me and said, "Do you realize what you just did?" Yeah, I completely realized what I just did. I drained my savings to sign up. I convinced my husband that I could get my money back in 30 days if it didn't work. And I also promised him that continuing on, I would never dip into our family's budget to pay for Shakeology or the nutrition supplements that I was using. I was going to make this work. That was something that I was going to push for. So, my journey started from the beginning, sharing it over social media. I was never the person to post on social media. In fact, only when it was special occasions, anniversaries, birthdays, the birth of a kid. That was pretty much it. Otherwise, I would just scroll and watch other people's lives through social media. And I became jealous. I was a lonely stay-at-home mom, right? But when coaching started, that changed everything for me. I became best friends over social media with other people, and how cool is that? Because I was still able to stay at home, stay in my safe bubble, and still have friends and not feel so lonely staying at home. And I found other people that could relate to things in my life, being a mom and the craziness. And so my life has been completely changed because of coaching. Within just the first month of becoming a coach and starting my own health and fitness journey, I lost 8 pounds. So guess what happened? I met with my personal trainer. She did my measurements and said, "You've changed." Because in 3 months I hadn't changed with her. But I actually was honest with her and I said, "I've actually only been to the gym a couple times in the last month, and that was to use the treadmill. I've been working out at home and I've been drinking Shakeology. Have you heard of it?" She said, "Yeah, I've heard of that," in a snarky way. And guess what? She was fired right after that. And the reason being was because I was getting results with other tools at home where I could still be with my kids, not spending all this extra money. And I was getting real results. So I started to invite people who were watching me to do it with me. And that began people starting their own journey, which was really exciting to me. I love to empower women, and this has definitely empowered women and also empowered myself. It has saved my marriage. I can honestly see that. I definitely was ready to give up, and it's because I didn't believe in myself. It's because I didn't love myself, and that completely changed. I used to be the type of mom that would sit on the sidelines at the park or anywhere else that I would go with my kids, and I would watch them play. I was never participating because I was too tired, right? I remember after starting my journey, we bought a tramp. We set it up in our backyard, and I got on that tramp, and I jumped for hours. Now my kids will ask me to play with them, and I don't have to say no because I'm not too tired. I'm not out of shape. I get excited about hanging out with my kids, and that was something that I didn't expect would change. I actually didn't even know that was something that was wrong that needed to be fixed. But now I get to be that fun, happy mom that my kids need me to be. I get to be that supportive wife. I get to be that happy wife who loves herself, who's confident, who has a purpose other than being a stay-at-home mom. And while I feel like that is a huge blessing, I get to stay at home with my kids because of coaching. I don't need to go look for another job to help my family's income. So I hope that something that I have said has impacted you, that's something that you can relate with, because coaching truly is life-changing. We can sit here and say that all day, but until you start realizing it for yourself and start experiencing all the emotional, mental, physical changes that can come from being a health and fitness coach, you won't fully understand until you just dive in and you take that leap of faith and you trust that this is really where you're meant to be. I wish that somebody would have reached out to me and asked me to look into coaching and check out what they're doing a long time ago. Maybe that would have changed a few things. I had my 4th kid, the healthiest pregnancy that I've ever had. I was able to bounce back a lot quicker, and that's all thanks to coaching. So many things are completely life-changing about it. I hope that you give this some serious thought, and I hope that by watching other people's videos, you'll be inspired to start your own journey. So I hope you have a good day. Bye.